Um, Good evening, everyone. And to you, Allison, and to Twin City Business, thank you for hosting this wonderful event. I have the distinct pleasure and the honor to introduce Michael Howe, we call him Mike Howe, to this great honor. I know, Mike, I speak on behalf of the entire organization about how proud we are of you, okay? I've had the privilege, I've had the privilege to work with Mike for 20 years. And in the past 10 years, I've had the great privilege to work with him as we've partnered on his role as the chair of Delta Dental from that perspective. And so he and I work very closely together, get a chance to see him quite a bit. Mike's credentials are very long, too long for me to even think about to put it in this 2 minutes that I still have left here. But I can tell you a couple things about him from a character perspective and from a trade perspective. He's a very smart guy. He's got his PhD and his master's, and he does all kinds of things like that. He's well prepared. He's probably the most prepared director that I've ever been around from that perspective. Does his homework, and he stays informed. Strategic thinker. He's a great planner. He's very skilled and very talented in the area of corporate governance and organizational structure. So Mike is he's a fun person. He's really a fun person, and he's all around a great guy. But I'm going to share something with you that you won't find on his resume, you won't find it on his CV. Mike is a former wrestler, and he is a die-hard wrestling fan. He's so passionate about wrestling, he's been talking to me about it for 20 years. And this past summer with the Olympics, he was over the moon. We had a breakfast meeting. I thought we were going to go over strategic plan, and we spent the entire morning talking about wrestling. And you might be asking, why am I sharing that Mike is a wrestler in this process? So after this 20 years of listening to him share with excitement about wrestling, and truly now that he's the chair, I said, you know what, you better behave in the boardroom. Because if you don't behave in the boardroom, Mike's gonna put you in a headlock, slam you to the floor, and make me tap out like I did from that perspective, okay? Mike, I did that for you, buddy, okay? Seriously, Mike, on behalf of your entire Delta Dental family, we couldn't be more proud, and you truly deserve this honor, and you are always our outstanding director in the Delta Dental boardroom. So thanks for your guidance and leadership. So Mike, come up, please.
Bring it back down. So which one of us is the basketball player? Can you tell? Rod is tall and has the vision to see the future, and I'm behind him just grappling, working things out. I have to start by saying I feel honored and so grateful tonight, as you can imagine. There are so many people here tonight that I have known and learned from over the years. And so thank you, Rod, for that terrific introduction. I'd like to lead with saying that our board and our executive team has accomplished so much these past few years under such trying conditions. We have such a talented board, and they're always willing to contribute, offer extra effort and talents. They're always focused on the oral health of our members. And we know how challenging this last year and a half has been for all of us, our families, our organizations, our boards, making adjustments and really critical thinking in so many areas. I'm proud to say that I think Delta Dental has really stepped up during this time. And when I thought about making this presentation, you begin to reflect, as I'm sure some of the other recipients have done as well. And as I thought about that, I think, all of our contributions that we bring to the table occur in the context of our individual beginnings and the aspirations that we have, the opportunities that are afforded to us, and the experiences that we gain from, along with the associations that we meet along the way and the learnings that we keep. With this in mind, I'd like to spend my time tonight just giving a shout out to 3 people who have supported me in my growth and in my development as a board member. One was a mentor that I had during my early formative executive years. Second is a friend who has been my governance coach. And the third is a board colleague with whom I've served over the past several years. I had the good fortune to join Allina Health, another organization here tonight, that was then Health Central, that became HealthSpan, Health One, Allina, and then the new Allina in my vernacular. And I was their first chief HR officer. Donald C. Wegmiller, sitting over here, was CEO then. And I think everyone in healthcare probably knows Don. I had the good fortune to work with him for a decade. And I'm sure that there's probably several hundred other people who would declare that Don was their mentor. During these years, I learned from Don how a CEO and a board chair should work together, how they should offer complementary perspectives within the boardroom, how they should assure that issues are framed in such a way that the board understands what's expected so they can deal with issues and act accordingly, how they should continuously clarify the roles of management and governance to assure that they got effective relationships and execution through the organization. I'm also fortunate to have had Mark Shefford as my governance coach. Now, he doesn't necessarily know that, but I do. And many of you may know Mark from reading the featured articles within the Twin City Business Magazine, or maybe some of you have served on one of the boards and have been fortunate to serve on one of the boards with Mark, because he's been on really so many. I want Mark to know how much I appreciate his advice and his counsel. We've known each other virtually forever, going back to high school. Finally, I'd like to recognize someone who has been on the Delta Dental Board and a colleague of mine, John Somrock. John was my immediate predecessor on the board. In John's demeanor and style, his observations and insights that he brings into each discussion, but especially his humility, serves as a role model for all of us and sets the culture for our board. And I think especially for our many new board members, and I think all of us have probably added more board members than we have in years past. So it's really important. And I can say it's always appreciated when John Somrock is in the boardroom. So I'd like to thank all three of you. Finally, just before I depart, I'd like to also offer that I think the work that MSP publication and the Twin City Business is doing right now to recognize the business community in this way is critically important. What may have started out many years ago as a program today has been broadened to add other disciplines, and I think is really creating a culture within the Twin Cities of development and recognition and connectivity that we wouldn't have had otherwise. So hats off to Twin City Business. Thank you.